How we doing? Welcome back to the show. Hope you're all good. Hope you've all had a good week. It feels like forever since you've been on here, but a lot's happened. A lot's moved forward. There's been a lot of games of football, and if I'm honest with you guys, I can hardly keep up. It is absolutely mad. Every time I turn on the TV, somebody is playing. But can't complain. It's been fantastic, man. It really has. And if I'm honest with you, long may it continue. And that is exactly what it's going to do up until this World Cup. We are playing literally every few days of the week, it seems, particularly if you're in Europe, which, of course, what all of us are on this show. We are missing Tobes, unfortunately, tonight, and we're missing Errol, both unavailable. I've got in some echo somehow from someone. I don't know if we can go on mute for a sec, try and work that out. That would be really handy. Hey,
it's it, guys?
Yeah, it's gone now, I think.
I think it was me, lads. Sorry, lads.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Always come back.
Now we've got mother crazy.
I'll put you on mute. I'll put you on mute, Lewis, because it was you. Whatever's happened there.
I can put his headphones off then. Thank you.
It's all good. And people, we had no Tobes because he's on holiday. It's a shame. Danny's a bit gutted because he wanted to troll him a bit. But he'll be in the chat.
Tobes and Errol both missing. Convenient.
I know. It's convenient, isn't it?
I begged to be on this show when I was in Ibiza. Just remember that.
Yeah, I know. You did, man. You did. There we go. Nice one, Lewis. Yeah, it's calm. Appreciate that, man. Listen, boys, let's talk top 4, top 6, Europe. It's heating up. It is looking, I'm going to start with you, Lawless. It is looking like a certain Magpie fan may be trying to sneak through the door on this show. Are West Ham, at the moment, looking like they deserve a place on this channel? Or is it going to get to a stage where, okay, you've won, and I thought it went for you, I ain't going to lie, in terms of decisions, but you weren't shocking. But is it looking like your place could be up for grabs here, mate?
Sneaking their way in or buying their way in, yeah? Paying off a few people, spending that money, yeah? Doing it the easy way, the you know what I mean, cheating, you could say, spending that money. While we're slowly climbing back up there. We're slowly making our way up the table. And whoa, there's some massive interference.
What is that interference now? Wow. Is that
off?
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Maybe it was
sounds like he's in the cockpit of an airplane.
Yeah.
No, it's one of them things okay, they're doing well. They're on a good run of form. Let's see if they can sustain this. It's so funny. Like, I see people talking about, should there be a top 7? And we for Newcastle, like, just because Newcastle have Saudi owners and they're on a good run, everyone's talking about. Why is no one talking about Fulham? Why is no one saying, "Oh, Fulham"? Why, they're 7th. A Fulham in a race.
What about the top 11, Lawless, that they did for Liverpool?
For Liverpool, oh yeah, exactly. It's hilarious, isn't it? Like, if Liverpool's down there 11th, we'll have a top 11. But yeah, when Brighton were 4th, no one was talking about. Should we?
Yeah, but okay. Let me tell you why. Because Newcastle are looking serious and they're going to spend again in January and they're getting up there. Fulham, I don't think it's sustainable. I think they've had a great start. Brighton, without Potter, I don't think they're going to be up there challenging. I think Newcastle were there to stay. I'm putting it out there. I said this from the start. Lawless weren't having none of it. He was laughing at me, telling me I was on some wank fest about Newcastle. I've been telling you, Eddie Howe's done well. They've got a good side. They've got a spine now, and they're going to add to it. Now, I don't know this because I've not got an ITK, but Pete has been told that they are going all out in January, not the summer, for Zaha, Maddison, and Tielemans. Now, those 3 players are all out of contract in the summer, apart from Maddison, who definitely ain't looking happy at Leicester, although he's banging them in. If they get them 3, or even 1 or 2 of them, they're seriously up there, man. And they're in consideration for top 4, not top 6 scraping in, top 7 scraping in. They will be up there. At the moment, there's 4 teams, in my opinion, and you might be able to agree or disagree with this, all 3 of you, right? There's 4 teams at the moment playing good football. Arsenal, Man City, Man United, and Newcastle. They're the ones at the moment that are playing good football. And if you were to say to me right now, who's going to get top 4, I wouldn't put all 4 of them in. But I would say to you, they're the 4 teams playing the best football. Newcastle at the moment are looking very difficult to beat, Lawless, man. I'm sorry,
they're looking good. They're looking good. But again, we have to see if they sustain it over the course of a season. Aston Villa have been spending like crazy season after season. They ain't got nowhere. So, yeah, they're on a good run of form. but I think we're making too early of a call. What 11, 12 games into the season, right? Yes, they're sniffing around. Who's currently in Europe? West Ham United. Are they playing? What are they doing on Thursdays? Watching Emmerdale, right? So before we talk about spots up for grabs,
Emmerdale wasn't on the first. Emmerdale wasn't on the Thursday.
Yeah,
is it?
I'm
Well,
joking.
listen,
I don't know. I got a clue if it is or
it?
not. I'm just. I don't even know.
I don't know if it's still on. Is it still on?
I don't even know.
Is it gone, by the way, or is it clear?
There's like a buzz.
no,
Did you hear a buzz?
No,
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave.
It was a smaller buzz. It was a lower hum sort of buzz. But yeah, look, better, we got a win. We're climbing back up there. What are we like now? We're 4 points off of 7th, right? 4 points off 7th. So, we got Man United next. We beat Man United, which is going to be a big ask. We closed the gap then. I'm interested in just seeing where we are come January.
Here we
February.
go. It's always if West Ham were up there, you'd be telling me, "Oh, we're 11 games in now. Blah, blah, blah. Take us seriously." Listen, man, hold that thought. I'm going to bring on somebody.
They're in the race. They're in the race. I say, okay.
You're always in the race, bruv. You're always in the race, Lawless. I'm going to bring in someone now who replaces Tobes and Errol together. Big up, my man KC, Kev Campbell. How are you, bro?
Yo, Dan, Lawless, Dan. There's a lot, Lewis. There's a lot of people in. How you doing, guys?
We're good, man.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good, bro.
Listen, KC, talk to me, man, because I'm just discussing this top 4, top 6 battle, and I'm asking. This is a race for Europe show. We should have Spurs and Liverpool, but they're about tonight because of Champions League. We got West Ham, we got United, we've obviously got Arsenal, and we've got Chelsea, but is there room for Newcastle, mate? Because I'm telling you now, they're looking serious and hard to beat, Kev.
Listen, the way Newcastle played against Spurs and beat them the weekend, the way they went to Old Trafford and really took the game to them, Newcastle are for real, mate. I tell you. And we know they've got the deepest pockets in the league now. If they want to go big in January, they can do that. I think Eddie Howe's done a great job. And do you know what? Almiron. Listen, he's always been a decent player, but he's added goals to his game. He gives them a different dimension now. So fair play to them. Their squad might get stretched if they get injuries, but again, January they can rectify some of that if it happens. But you can't look past Newcastle. I think Newcastle need to be part of that group.
Do you not think Almiron's playing? Sorry, Kev. Do you not think Almiron's playing so well now because he's playing for a manager that trusts him? And I think that's what he's not had, hasn't he, in the past few seasons? He's got a manager there that's saying, "Go out there and just do your thing, just play." And
he works hard, doesn't he?
He does. He's incredible to watch. He is.
He works hard, and Eddie Howe's obviously getting the best out of him. And do you know what? Eddie Howe's getting the best out of quite a few of those Newcastle lads who were probably failing under Steve Bruce, etc. So fair play to him. Almiron is adding goals to his game. He works hard. He scores goals now. They're dangerous, guys. I'm telling you, nobody wants to play Newcastle.
I said at the start of the season, Nick Pope was a stunning signing, and I stand by that. What a signing that is for Newcastle. Absolute rock at the back. And I think if you can have a solid back five with the keeper, you're laughing, aren't you? Absolutely laughing.
Well, look, I think we've got to add Botman to that. Sven Botman's come in. He's done well. Yeah. Shaw has stepped up. Dan Burn, he's played centre-half. He's played left-back. He's been good as well. Trippier, we all know about how good Trippier is. So as a back five, they're good. But you know what? We always hear it, the spine of the team. The spine of the team's right. Bruno Guimaraes, who, we were after Dan, we were linked to. He's been stunning for them, hasn't he? He's been so incredible. Good, and, there's been so many players who have just improved under Eddie Howe. Yeah. They're a tough ass right now.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. And I feel like, we're going to be talking about, are they going to replace West Ham? Lawless ain't going to have it. Lawless is saying West Ham's too early.
He's not going to have that. No chance.
I think
we're in Europe. We're in Europe. They're not. I'm just saying. It's a race for Europe. We're in Europe, mate. So
you are for now, man.
Get to Europe. for now.
Do you know what? The manager you want out as well is you're lucky that you're still in Europe, mate, because he got you there. All these West Ham fans that want Moisey out. It's getting that way with you, bro.
Do you want him out?
Do you want him out?
What I will say? Do you know what I will say about that? Because of the way you play, you done last season, Dan, and then the way you started this season, it makes you think, is he the right man? Do you know what I mean? I understand that, but the bottom line is he's done the course and distance with this team. It's now he's got to try and build something better, and it may take a little bit of time. Listen, I think the signings you've made are really good. They've just got to settle in.
I hope so. I hope so. You know, and I do agree. It's just seeing what the plan is. Where's the improvement coming? Because I think we did tail off towards the end of the season, and Europe, the Europa League, it sort of swept everything under the carpet. What was happening in the league, and we sort of excused it, going, "Oh, look, we're going to lose in the league because we're going deep in Europe." And then we wanted this transfer window to correct a lot of those issues and have a bigger squad. And we've done that. And like you said, obviously, you've got to give certain players time to click. But I just want to see some signs that, okay, when this comes in, we're going to be good. And obviously, we're beating these teams that are like your bread and butter. You want to be beating your Bournemouths at home, your Fulhams at home, your Wolves at home. But I want to see us put some good performances in against decent teams. The Newcastle game got postponed when they had like key players out. Fortunate for them. But that's a test I would have liked to have seen. Man United away. You know, our approach to Liverpool, we nearly got something out of that, but our approach was wrong. Let's see if we can take it to them. And then we've got Leicester, who sort of resurging a bit. They're looking to become good again, Leicester, and Palace, which are a tough team, and that's before the break. So if I can see us play good against these decent teams, I can buy into, okay, this is the vision. We're going to start to get good. I need to see something.
So if you don't, Dan, is it all doom and gloom?
Yeah, well, to me, it's like, well, we're still in the Conference League, so we can still win a trophy.
Yeah.
If we don't get Europe, we don't finish Europe, we don't win that Conference League or a Carabao or an FA
or
Cup.
A cup,
any cup. Then I think serious questions have to be asked after spending 170 million. Newcastle didn't even spend that, and they're the mega money team that everyone's talking about. We spent more than them. So we want to see something from that. And if I can't see anything,
imagine hanging your hopes on the Conference League. Love it. You love to see it.
European trophy, mate. It's a European trophy. You know what I mean? So
they're hard to win, man. You're right. They're hard to win, I tell you.
Yeah.
Imagine looking forward to playing Wi-Fi passwords and Vibrator FC every Thursday.
We'd be able to say we got more European trophies than you.
You will, but you got to win it, bruv. And I don't think you will.
Win this cup as well. So, you know.
Listen, apparently your manager is rubbish, so you're not going to win it. So there we go. That's what all these West Ham fans keep telling me he's no good. So, you know, this is the way I see it, bro.
Hey, Lewis is keeping quiet down there.
It's because my mic is a mess right now. Has the interference gone?
Yeah, it's better now, bro.
All right, cool. No worries. But yeah, I don't know about Newcastle for top four. I definitely think they're going to be up there. Do they have the experience to see it out? I think that's the biggest question for me. And if they don't have it this season, they'll have it next season. Like, we all know Newcastle are going to be a problem. I just don't know if it's going to be this immediate. Like, that would take a lot even for Newcastle and their deep pockets and everything.
I'm not saying top four. What I'm saying is Newcastle are a problem for every team that's on here.
Oh, yeah, big facts.
They're a problem. United played them the other day, didn't they? And they took it to United at Old Trafford. United, in the end, probably they had a bit of couldn't finish off Newcastle, which you get sometimes. But the way they go, they play home and away. They go for you. And if you don't finish them off, I'll tell you what, they keep coming. So they're a problem. And
I'd be shook at them playing them right now. We got our own problems.
Well, exactly. That's why I said Lewis is keeping a bit quiet down there.
Yeah, we're their last game before the World Cup. Like, trust me, man. And it's an away. No, it's away. It's away. And we don't like that ground in general before the takeover. So, yeah, a long week. I think we got you guys the week before as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you have.
You do.
Yeah, long week.
Last two is Arsenal and Newcastle. Oh, that's not great.
And a nice little City away League Cup time between that, because we haven't suffered enough here, have we?
Beautiful.
You know what? I'm just conflicted about Newcastle because one hand, I'd love them to displace one of you lot. and kick one of you lot out of that top 6.
Well, they've already displaced you, Lawless. So I suppose.
Yeah, but well,
I can't lie. You walked into that one.
You're jumping the gun, Dad. You're jumping the gun. And we haven't displaced any of the top 6. We haven't displaced any of them. But I'd love them to, kick Arsenal out, kick the Chelsea out, or Spurs, or even a Man United, because it's going to happen if they do get to those levels. But at the same time, we do that. It's just another obstacle for us to overcome. So it's nice to see a new team kick one of you lot out and have you lot on the cold shoulder. But at the same time, it makes it harder for us to then claw our way back in there. So conflicted feelings, but if we suffer, one of you lot have to suffer with us. So you'll come down and be talking about the Conference League. Dan's going to be like, "Oh, the Conference League, we're going to win that this season. Great cup."
I'd never say that, mate. I'd never say that. Never, ever, ever,
mate.
No, what I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this now, Lawless. Newcastle and Man United are finishing above West Ham this season. I'm telling you that now.
Look at you, Potts. Right. As soon as they have,
Just saying.
You're so quick. A few weeks happens, and all of a sudden you just change everything. All your opinions just change.
What's this? What's changed? What's changed? I said we're 11 games in now. I've never said you're going to finish at top 6 ever. I've never put you top 6.
But you never
and
said
I told
Newcastle
you.
Was finishing
No, I
above
did.
us.
I said on Matisse channel that I said that Matisse channel Newcastle will come in 7th and West Ham come in 8th. That's what I said, bro.
I don't remember that. I need receipts.
You won't remember it. No, you won't remember that.
I'll tell you another problem. Another problem is Man United. I think they're starting to show signs of life. I really do.
I think you're right.
You know what? When that dynamite of Ronaldo is out, I just think, I'm not saying they're gonna win it, but they're getting better. United. That game against Spurs, wow, they absolutely took Spurs apart, didn't they? And I know you could say many teams can do that, but the way they done it, I think, yeah, I'm seeing some signs of life out of United.
It was, do you know something? I was terrified as a United fan of this month of October. I thought with Spurs, obviously Newcastle being the way they are, Chelsea as well. I was sat there and I was thinking, well, I said to the lads on here, I said, this is going to define our season. I know we're so early in, but if you want to keep in with the top 4 hunt, you've got to be picking points up. So I'm chuffed with the points we've picked up. And actually, we'll get onto it in a bit with, excuse me, with Lewis, but against Chelsea, to go to Stamford Bridge and the manager having to make a change in the first half because we were all over him, it speaks volumes. Now, I don't think United deserved to win to win the game at Stamford Bridge, but we didn't deserve to lose. So I was so happy with that. But the Spurs game, 18 shots in the first half. That was more than that's more than Eric Ten Hag's teams have created in an entire game since he's been at United. It clicked, but the issue being at United, we haven't got a striker. We haven't got a striker at the moment, and I think we get a striker that can put them in the back.
No, hold on, Dan. You've got a striker, but you don't use him.
Who, Ronaldo?
Yes, you don't use him.
Do you not think that the way that United play completely changes when he's on the pitch?
Yeah, it can change, but do you know what? It's about chances and goals. If Ronaldo was on against Newcastle, that header that Rashford had, you 1-0. You win the game 1-0. Let's be honest.
With Ronaldo, the thing that I'm struggling with Ronaldo is when Ronaldo's on the pitch, I see a different Bruno. When Ronaldo's off the pitch, Bruno is something else.
Fair. I agree with that. That's fair.
And I think it's almost which one do you want, isn't it? Really, it's which one do you want? Do you want? And make no mistake, against Spurs, that's Bruno's best game in 12 months for United, easily. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, again, we'll probably talk about it. The whole Ronaldo situation is just
you got to get him out, haven't you? That's the bottom line.
Exactly.
I know he's a wonderful player. I know he's one of the greats and all that, but it's a new regime. He seems to be dynamite in the dressing room and he's causing all sorts of problems. So the bottom line, we've seen it, Dan, haven't we, Potsy, at Arsenal? We've seen Arteta do it. You have to be ruthless.
Yeah.
And you got to get anybody who's going to disrupt the dressing room, you've got to get them out. And unfortunately, I think that's what has to happen with Ronaldo.
Yeah, completely agree.
He's got to go, man. Like, you can't be dealing with that. You just got to cut your losses and get it gone, man, and just say, right, we're moving forward without him. Yes, he's going to score us goals, but he's going to cause a hell of a lot of fuss and a lot of trouble when he does it.
Will they even get rid of him in January, though?
They could do, Lewis. I think. Do you know something? I honestly think he's gone. I think he'll play. Well, I mean, you've got to.
Where's
play
he
him,
going? Where's he going, though, man? Where's he going?
They're still saying Chelsea, Lewis, aren't they? They're still little.
Do you want him, Lewis? Do you want him, Lewis?
No. I was done with that when Aubameyang came in. All we needed was a goal scorer. We have a goal scorer. We don't need Ronaldo. Even for the shirt sales, it's just not worth it. He's just moving from one bench to another bench, and we're just going to have his attitude.
Could be a good signing for Newcastle. Talking about Newcastle, right? If they want to establish themselves as a global brand, right? Let's talk about shirt sales. Let's talk about getting themselves up there, growing their fan base, not just pitch-wise, but come on, like
They've signed Isak, haven't they? They've signed Isak, Alexander Isak.
Is he injured?
He's been injured. Yeah, he's been injured. So they've already committed the money. I can't see Eddie Howe wanting Ronaldo. No.
I can't see anyone wanting him.
Well, he wants champions. I was on TalkSport and I mentioned Chelsea. I mentioned Chelsea for one reason. He wants Champions League football. And of the teams in the Champions League, Chelsea are the only team you could say, I know they've got Aubameyang, but you want a killer. You want somebody proven in the Champions League. And it might just be something Graham Potter says, you know what, I'll take Ronaldo for 6 months. You know, that's why. But
would he be happy to sit on the bench, though?
Well, listen, I think Ronaldo right now, if he's going to be playing in the Champions League, I think he wouldn't mind.
So what, just play the Champions League games and he'd be happy to rotate in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think dangle that carrot, I think Ronaldo might say, yeah, okay.
If he didn't have any attitude problems or anything about it, a 6-month loan spell as a rotation option, I wouldn't say no to. But my problem is I just don't know if he'd be willing to take it. His ego's too big for that.
It wouldn't be a loan anyway, would it? Because his contract's up at the end of the season. Then
it'll probably be even more than 6 months, and that's just even more of a.
It'd be 18 months.
No, I'm not interested.
You loan him till the end of the season. That's it. So it's contract finish at United. Then he's a free. That's it. You could do that for 6 months. I
don't mind, as long as he'd accept his position and he wouldn't make a big deal of it. I don't mind that. My problem is just him off the pitch.
His attitude is disgusting. Absolutely.
I think it's a madness, and I want to big up Ten Hag, right? Because like Casey said, he's starting to actually see straight away what he's trying to do, and I think everybody knows that me and Casey at the start were disagreeing about Arteta and all this, because I felt personally it was just taking a bit long. I've been really impressed at how quickly I've seen Man United turn around in a matter of games. I'm talking 11 games. I saw you at the start against Brighton and Brentford, Dan, and it was poor, mate. It was poor, yeah. And I've seen a couple of players come in, and all of a sudden you're starting to look good. Now, don't get me wrong. When you bring in, like somebody to play next to Varane and Casemiro, and obviously Martinez, who's been fantastic for you, Malacia, they've all been upgrades on what you already have. So you'd like to think they're going to improve. But for me, all of a sudden, I've seen you become more creative under Ten Hag. I didn't really see a direction. I didn't really see a style of play. I never really saw any kind of press off the ball. I didn't really see the Eriksen's situation. I know he's been injured, but I didn't think that was going to work. It has done. I've been really impressed, man. And, we all laughed at you when you said top four. I know you were saying a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but there was something that you had there saying, I quite like what he's trying to do. And I just think he's going to get it right. And I think we can see that now, that straight early doors, actually, Man United look a hell of a lot better. And I thought against Chelsea, by the way, which I'm going to come on to, Dan, I thought you were by far the better side. Now, I know Graham Potter, and I'll come to Lewis afterwards, made that change with Kukurea coming on. And to be honest, when Kovacic come on, they looked better. Man United were so much better, I thought. You must have walked away thinking, I think we should have picked up 3 points.
It was frustrating. But I think when that penalty happens, and this is something that I want to reiterate about the mentality that Ten Hag seems to be bringing in. The mentality that when we concede that penalty, you look at the replays and you see him with Bruno. He's already telling Bruno, "This is where I want you. I want you here. I want you to be." That's what we've been missing with Manchester United for so long. Instead of the goal going in and a manager just throwing his toys out the pram and that's it, we've lost the game. It's that elite mentality of we're not out of this. We go until the end. And I tell you what, honestly, Casemiro, that header, That was shades of Roy Keane against Juventus in '99 for me. Just the importance of that goal and
that's a massive comparison.
Stunning, mate. Stunning. It was for the importance. I tell you what. No, I'm telling you, we lose that game, right? We lose against Chelsea. Chelsea then go 6 points above us. That's top 4. That's a lot. That's a tough ask. That's a tough ask going into the winter break as well. The only thing I will say about United is we have played nearly everybody in that big seven now. We've had the tougher fixtures this season, I think. I think we've had the toughest fixtures. And we seem to be in, I think, more up the table than anybody really, really anticipated we would be. I don't want us to be a feel-good story. I want us to be a story about a manager who comes in, utilizes what he believes in, and we've seen that with Ronaldo. If you're not toeing the line, that's it. Off you go. You find 2 weeks' wages. You do this. Roy Keane at the weekend saying, "Oh no, it's a team full of bluffers. You should be. It's Ronaldo. It should be different." No, that's what got United in the situation we were in. Ollie did that so well. Would let players get away with absolute murder. You've got a manager now who comes in and says, "This is my ship. You either stick with it or you're off." And that is why we're starting to see the benefits of it. Take City aside. We're looking at really good football inside. I'm telling you, Dalot does not get enough credit. Dalot is and you've got to remember, all these players are getting rotated. Dalot isn't. We haven't got another right back. Dalot's playing week in, week out, 90 minutes a game. Unreal. I tell you what, honestly, I'm so chuffed. And I tell you what, it's going to be a great end to the season. I said at the start of this, at the very start, top 4 is going to be a very, 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 very long, arduous task to get into. And there's going to be chops and changes. There's going to be teams coming in and fighting and not getting it. Top 4 won't be settled until the last game of the season. I guarantee it.
I think you're right. KC, what do you make of Ten Hag at United? And in terms of what Arteta's done, and there's been a lot of good Arteta's done at the Arsenal, right? Do you think that he can learn through some of that and look at what he can do in terms of like the culture and removing big names? And, there's a lot to do, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a lot to do. But I think the starting position for Manchester United had more quality in their squad than Arsenal did when Arteta took over. I still think Man United were only a few players away from being a real top side. Let's not forget, only a couple of seasons ago, they finished second. So the bones of a team are there. I think they just lost their way. They needed discipline. I questioned Ten Hag when he first came in regarding the Ronaldo situation, because I know that's dynamite for the dressing room. How Ronaldo never went away on the club tour, how Ronaldo was doing his own thing. And I think Ten Hag, when Ronaldo came back, worked it out and said, right, you can leave. But it was too short notice. There was no real takers. And I think the people upstairs, obviously, for the shirt sales and all that, that's massive. But once the season started and he made his decisions, Ronaldo hasn't been in, and Ronaldo's gone off in a half or whatever. To be fair, he's read the Riot Act. He's led by the letter of the law. As Dan says, this is my ship, and I'm the captain of the ship. I manage it. And Ronaldo's had to eat humble pie a couple of times. I know there's only a few games left before the break, and Ronaldo goes away on World Cup duty, etc. But the way he's managed Ronaldo, there ain't many managers who would take Ronaldo on. Let's be honest. This is one of the greats. So
Fergie didn't even do it, did he, Kev? Fergie didn't even do it.
But the thing is, Ronaldo wouldn't be that way with Fergie.
No.
You understand what I mean? Fergie he ruled with the iron fist. But now Ronaldo's ego is obviously still there. He thinks he's the top man. And last season he proved he's the top man. But it's a new regime.
Kev, can I ask you something? As a player, being in the changing room, and how do you as a player react to one individual doing this, acting like this, when you've all bought into the managers, because it's obvious they've all bought into the manager's philosophy. How do you as a player react to someone as big as Ronaldo behaving like this?
Well, this is the big problem, you see, Dan, because Ronaldo is the biggest player in the dressing room. So he carries so much weight. You got to remember, when Ronaldo came back, everyone's looking up to Ronaldo thinking, let's see how he does things. So it's very difficult after one season when Ronaldo's been so prolific and done so well. And sometimes he put the team on his back, didn't he, last season, and done really well. For it to all of a sudden start going wrong now, you kind of look at him and think, I think what the team tend to do is look to the manager, because as players, and this has happened before, trust me, where the players have had a go at the star and the manager's back the star. So what does that do to the team? So I think for the dressing room, they've kind of looked at Ten Hag and said, let's see how you deal with it. And Ten Hag, he hasn't let anybody down, has he? He's gone straight in, wham. You know, you're getting fined, you're out of the squad, etc. And to be fair to Ronaldo, he's put his hands up and said, you know, he's frustrated, etc. So I think Ten Hag has handled that dressing room well. It's his ship. It's got to be done his way. I look at losing Varane might cause a little problem, because Varane has been playing outstanding. He really has been outstanding.
Yeah.
But Ten Hag has made a difference. One thing I will say about Casemiro, many people just think he's a holding midfielder. He is not. I covered him for 2 seasons at Real Madrid in the Liga.
He's box to box, isn't he?
He is box to box. And you know what? When the team get desperate, he always comes up with a goal. He always came up with a goal for Real Madrid, or an assist or whatever. So you're seeing it now. He's doing the same in the Premier League. It took him a little while to adjust, but now he's adjusted. You're seeing how good he is.
Yeah, love it. Actually, love it. Love it.
He has been decent, man. Before I come to Lewis, who's gone to grab something, I need to go to someone who looks like Ten Hag. Why is Ten Hag in the top right?
All season I've been getting this. It's going to be the new thing now.
What do you make of it, though, Lawless? Like, United looking all right, man. Seeing as you've got them next, like,
I think you're overhyping once again, Potts. Like, there's no.
What have I done? I haven't said anything.
Like the first, when your whole intro, Man United have been so good. Like, you deserve to win that game against Chelsea. He was by far the better team. Blah blah blah. You're going off again, as I said this on Matisse's show. 30 minutes. Man United did next to nothing after that substitution. A couple of shots from outside the box that went wide. Really, I mean, it was a boring game to begin with, really, but they weren't, like, you're acting as if they were all over Chelsea, and Chelsea were on the back foot. Chelsea were once Kulusevski came on, were in control for large spells of that game.
Kovacic.
Kulusevski?
Why did I think
Kulusevski Spurs, mate.
Kovacic.
He's pining for Tobes. That's what it is.
I wish we did have Kulusevski. Also, that.
I want to smoke Toes, but he was in the comments. Yeah, Kovacic.
Toes is, man. He's giving it to you already. Look. He's saying the guy's bragging because they beat Bournemouth with 2 goals that they should have been disallowed.
Listen, we'll get to that, but this guy can't say nothing with the state Tottenham's in at the moment. That's all I'm going to say. But like Chelsea, I think a draw was a fair result. Overall.
Yeah, I said that. I think
it was a fair result. I don't think Man United, like the picture you painted is that Man United battered Chelsea and Chelsea were lucky to come out of a point. That's really not the case at all. Chelsea was winning the ball back high up the pitch, and they was, really possession-wise, I think they had a lot of the ball in and around the box.
When Potter made that change, it was more even, I said.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, much more even. But I never think we dominated the game, though. Like, at the most, we leveled it out. I never think...
No, because it was a boring game where no side was, like, really making each other sweat.
Oh, yeah, Chelsea United's been a mid-off for years.
Yeah, I just feel like in terms of just the balance, the way the game was in the balance at that time, I sort of give it to Chelsea for that period of time after Kovacic came on. Although no team really created any, real clear-cut chances. Like I said, a few shots from distance. Chelsea getting the ball into the box, but not really taking the chances. So yeah, like Man United, they have got better for sure. But as Kevin said, we'll see what happens now with Varane out, because that is a big loss. And is Maguire going to come back in, or is it going to be Lindelof? Or
I hope so. I hope Maguire comes back. I've missed him.
Yeah, exactly. I hope
you mock him, but we're about to hit the World Cup. Just watch him fucking have like 3 or 4 really, really good. Just it's going to happen. I need us to beat Man United, though. If we beat Man United,
this show is going to be very, very entertaining next week. That's
Lawless. I've got your number now, mate. If we beat you, I tell you what, I'm going to be ringing you 12 pints in from Butlins, dressed as a fucking sailor, giving it you large.
You'll be blocked. I'm going to block you.
Well, let's go predictions for that game. Dan, what do you reckon? Dan United.
3-1 United.
Is it at Old Trafford, by the way?
I think it is, yeah. It's Old Trafford, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, Lawless. They've beaten everybody there, man. They've beaten us there. They've beaten Spurs there. They've beaten Liverpool there.
It's looking long.
It's looking long. Lawless, you're going to turn up and beat them.
All right, Liverpool and Spurs. Like right now, okay, Arsenal, you can say Arsenal are good, but Liverpool and Spurs, come on.
Liverpool beat you, didn't they, mate?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but, so. Yeah, no, sorry, I was just checking. Sorry,
are they good? Are they good? Is this a good Liverpool? Is this a good Liverpool?
They're good enough to beat you. They're good enough to beat you, weren't they? Good enough to beat you.
All right, so what? You haven't lost to any teams down at the bottom of the table this season, have you? No?
At the bottom?
Down the bottom half of the table. What teams have beat you this season?
Brighton and Brentford. Brentford's 11th, Brighton's 9th. What's your point?
There you go. Anyone can lose to anyone, so I don't see the point that you're making there.
What's your prediction, Lawless?
He's going to go 3.
Listen, you've pushed me now. You've pushed me.
Get close to the camera, Lawless.
Go on, puff the chest out. Let's go. Let's go.
I was going to sit there.
Please win, by the way. We need it. Please win.
We need it. I was going to sit there and talk about Moyes' record away from home against the greedy Sky Sports 6. Not good. 19 games, not a single win away from home. But
here we go.
But I'm not having this.
Yeah.
Time to change. It's a turning point in our season. Right? Yeah. We narrowly
season starts now.
We dominated in the second half at Anfield, by the way. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not change the narrative.
Yeah, that's facts.
Right? Aguerd is said to be in the squad.
Oh, we finally get to see this amazing centre back in action. Aguerd, he's been hyping him up all season. Come on, Aguerd.
I'm telling you, he's going to make a difference, right? I'm hoping Cornet is going to be back. Paqueta, we need him back. So we have to see what the injuries are saying. But this is time. It's time now. I'm going to say 1-0 West Ham at Old Trafford. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a nervy game, but we're going to edge it. Scamacca is going to score, and it's going to be scenes. I'm saying it now. You've pushed me.
So... You know what this is? Lawless. This is me washing me fucking hands with you, mate. I've had enough of this absolute nonsense that I'm hearing from you every week. We had to go 3 or 4 weeks of you saying the season starts this week. The season starts this week. Stop it. Nah. Jesus, for the love of Christ.
You're not Man City. You're the crap Manchester club. Let's not act like you're this.
No. Someone said it. But I agree with that person who said it. I just wanted to put my two.
I'm just, you know what I mean? He's acting like this is invincible.
I'm not. But I've had to listen to you all season say you're going to finish above us.
Okay. Well, we've you know what I mean? We came close.
See, that's changed. That's changed.
Listen, like if you want to finish above him, you got to beat him in a weekend, Lawless. So,
come on.
Listen, you got to play catch up, bruv. You got to play catch up. And that's the way to catch up.
That will help. If we beat you, I want to see some humble pie next week from you. I need you to come back down to earth because you're getting carried away. This isn't Fergie time now.
When am I getting carried away?
This is a new era.
Where am I getting carried away? Where am I getting carried away? Where have I said we're going to win the league or anything like that?
You're throwing your chest about a bit too much. Just tuck it in a bit. Tuck it in. Button your coat up, mate. That's all I'm saying.
Wearing a shirt, you donut. Wearing a shirt.
A figurative coat. A figurative coat.
A figurative coat. Okay. Well, all right. And I'll tell you what then. Yeah, I'll eat humble pie if you beat us. If we beat you, you're demoted to the bottom show. You're gone. It's time to go. It's time. In the words of
we're in Europe. We're in Europe.
It's time to go.
What other teams are in Europe that aren't on this show? We're in Europe. We're playing in Europe on Thursday.
You're playing Tesco FC, for Christ's sake. Jesus Christ.
Disrespectful. That is disrespectful. We just beat Anderlecht, right?
Who are ninth in their division? Who are ninth in their division?
Okay, but look at the quality, the top tier footballers that they've produced. Yeah, put some respect. That's all I'm saying.
I'm moving on, man, because you two are going to go on like this forever.
What if you dropped into the Conference League pots? Is that possible yet? Let's see. Can you finish third?
What, Arsenal?
Yeah.
No, we've gone through, bruv.
Oh, you've gone through. Damn it. Because that would have been nice. Actually, Man United,
don't even start saying that Arsenal are going to go anywhere near that Conference League, man. We even finished outside of it one year because we didn't even want it. I was happy we come 8th instead of 7th. Yeah? Me and KC were like, right, we've dodged the bullet there.
We don't need it. We don't want it.
Let West Ham in that, you know what I'm saying?
Potts, KC, no, I won't have that. It's a trophy. It's a European trophy.
Well, it is. It is. Look at Roma. Look at the celebrations from Roma. You're going to sit there and laugh at those fans who had that parade, who enjoyed themselves, right? Who had the time of their life seeing their players with the team bus and Mourinho.
When you win it, Lawless, yeah. When you win it, fair enough. But
yeah,
you got to win it. That's
Are you going to win it? Are you going to win it, Dan?
Yeah, I can't. Any elimination for that competition at any stage is embarrassing. You got to win it. Bare minimum, make the final. Bare minimum.
Spurs didn't even make it out of the group stage, so
yeah, I didn't even want to hear any bullshit about them getting disqualified. That was still embarrassing that they even got to that spot.
They were like third
and hold corn for that.
They were third in the table. We've already qualified. We're already at the
Farmers team beat them as well, didn't
they? The t-shirts are coming out, aren't they? The t-shirts coming out.
The Farmers team beat them as well, didn't they? You remember?
Yeah, it was
they struggled.
Part-timers.
Yeah. So
where's Tobes now in the chat to answer that?
Tobes is gone, man. Tobes is on holiday enjoying himself, man, and getting ready for the football.
Can't let him enjoy himself. We got to bring him
Dan United, I know you've got to shoot off, man. So you get off when you need to, bro. And I'll see you next week. And I'll look forward to this when West Ham and Man United face next week.
Lawless. Oh, sorry, actually, say Lewis. I'll see you next week. Dan, see you next week.
Take care, my guy.
JC, great to see you, mate.
Nice
Lawless,
one, Dan.
I'll catch you on the 7 o'clock show next week, shall I? I'll be there in the chat.
I'll still be here.
I'm looking forward to it, mate. Be great.
We'll be in Europe longer than you. I guarantee that. And then you can get out. You can go on the mid show.
You should.
Yeah. They're going to get knocked out of your own.
Look at this, Tobes always waffling about beating teams who make vibrant.
You couldn't even beat them. You can even beat these teams, Tobes. So what are you talking about?
See you later, guys.
Love.
See you,
Lewis, man. You've been kind of half waiting patiently and chipping in, man. But I want to ask you a question about Chelsea, right? I'm going to get the boys' opinions on this, and then we're going to do quickly Arsenal and Chelsea, right? Now, listen. What is the difference between this Chelsea team under Potter and the Chelsea team under Tuchel from what you've seen early days, man? Because I'm looking at things at the moment and I'm seeing some nice stuff at the back, keeping clean sheets. I think you kept 5 in a row, I think, at one stage. But at the top, it still ain't really firing in games. Now, it might have changed. I didn't see you yesterday, and I know you've gone through in the Champions League now. But what's your thoughts early days of Graham Potter, bruv?
I think he's done really well in spite of a big pressure job immediately, because if he didn't start well, everyone would start making the immediate Tuchel comparisons. And in spite of that, they're doing it anyway. But I think Potter's done the best that he could, especially with a squad that isn't his. Like, he's the last person that I really look at towards anything. And his in-game management has saved us in a lot of matches from potential draws and losses. I think he's been excellent. In terms of squad, like, nothing else has really changed except the fact that we're a bit more direct in our passing. We're a bit more quicker. And that we were very safe under Tuchel. I think that's one thing we've noticed with hindsight. We're very, very safe in our play. And it was half the reason why we couldn't create as many chances. Now we're making more chances in games, but the finishing is just the exact same. And it's because mostly the same personnel's in there. Sterling's never been the most clinical finisher, in spite of the fact he's probably still one of our better finishers. Aubameyang, like, his touch has let him down the last few days. Really has. And as long as he's firing goals, like, I don't mind him drifting in and out of games like he usually does. But games like yesterday, you have to be scoring at least one goal. He could have had a hat-trick in the first half. And granted, the goalkeeper made some really good saves too. But there was some ways, like, you had all the time in the world, all the space, and then it was a poor touch and it was a poor finish. And he's got to be better with that. But we already know that's always Chelsea's issue. They're never clinical, and that's going to continue to be a problem for us. until maybe the next summer window. But other than that, like, we do look a bit more direct. The defense is good, but like, I also think the 5 clean sheets thing is a bit of a fake stat. Like, 2 of those were saved by Kepa, not by the defense. The defense was atrocious against Villa, atrocious against Brentford. Could have easily conceded if it wasn't for him. So, like, it's been a good run, but it's not really been convincing. I think our only convincing games have been against Milan and Wolves didn't have a manager. AC Milan had about 10 injuries. All the other games, it's been a struggle, in spite of the fact that we've won it or we've drawn it. So, cautiously optimistic for games.
I think that's fair, man. And before I come to KC on this point, I want to get his opinion on it as well. But this Aubameyang thing, right, and this Havertz thing, Havertz has been a lot of money and ain't really cut at Chelsea. I know he won you the Champions League. People got excited about it. I know that people are saying he's been a bit better. Can they do a job together, mate? Like, just hear me out on this, right? I'm seeing the 3 at the back situation, maybe Mount and Kovacic or something like that, or maybe Jorginho and Mount, whatever it be. And then maybe a Sterling behind Havertz and Aubameyang. Because when Lacazette and Aubameyang used to play together, you had that hold-up man and then Aubameyang playing off of him, and it worked. And I'm starting to wonder whether Potter might go down that route, playing them both together. I wanted to get your thoughts on that, Lewis.
We've tried it a few games, but I'm not too sold on it. Even in spite of the fact that there was a lot of good link up between the 2 of them yesterday, and it's probably been Havertz's best performance of the season. I'm still not jumping to conclusions off that. The one thing about the Champions League compared to Premier League is that it's a lot more open. You have a lot more space to deal with, and that's why players like Havertz can thrive. So, like, I'm not too surprised he had a good game. He also seemed to start well against Salzburg in the first game at home, but then he petered off. That's why I need to see more consistency from him first and foremost. But in terms of them being good up top, I think Havertz as a shadow striker just roaming into space potentially might work, but that's all he can really offer you. In terms of hold-up play, he's probably the weakest number 9 you'd have in the top 10. He will not win you any duels at all. He'll spend half the time on the ground. So I can't really see him be that sort of player. If anyone was going to be, it probably would have been Lukaku, but like, we already know how that went and everything. I can't see Havertz holding up play. I could see him working as a shadow striker potentially, maybe as a 10, but I need to see consistency and just attributes that I can assign to you consistently before I can even talk about a position, because right now I've just seen a good first half from him and I need to see more. I need to see a lot more. But from Aubameyang, it's the same too, because he's been poor the last 2 games as well.
Kev, what's your thoughts on Chelsea's attack under Potter, man? How do they get the best out of him for you, bro?
Well, the problem hasn't been Potter. The problem's been Chelsea's problem for a while. Potter's coming in and he's trying to make it work. He's trying different permutations. He's tried Sterling at wing back even at times to try and get them moving, trying to get the team gelling. And I think, Dan, you make a good point about Havertz and Aubameyang. Lewis, you said it. They kind of linked up quite well. But sometimes these things don't happen straight away. You've got to keep working on them, you know. Yeah. Again, Sterling needs to know, right, these are my guys. This is where I'm playing. And he's going to go from there. I think moving him around all this time, 1 minute he's left, next minute he's right, then he's wing back. I don't think that's conducive to get the best out of Sterling. So again, it's going to take a bit of time. I think that there's a couple of players who have thrived under Potter. I think Chalobah is one of them. I think he's been pretty decent. And Kepa has been outstanding in goal. As you said, Lewis, 2 of the games he's saved you in 2 games. So Chelsea are a good side and they've got good players. But there's flaws in that team, Dan, that, you know, when I look at the way Arsenal are playing, for instance, I fancy our chances against Chelsea because there are flaws in that team. There's flaws defensively. We've seen they had to change against Manchester United because Manchester United were dominating the game. Yeah, they created a few chances, but nothing crazy. But they did dominate too much, especially with Chelsea at home. So you have to adjust. But again, the attack, I think it needs a little bit more time, Dan. Definitely needs.
And do you think, Kev, like Chelsea, expectation-wise, what are you expecting from Chelsea this season, mate?
Well, the expectation for Chelsea has to be to go deep into Champions League. You get to worst case is quarterfinal, worst case, and they've got to finish top 4. That's the bottom remit for Chelsea. With you look at their squad and their
completely agree. And the domestic trophy, I would like, because it's been too long. It's been way.
Well, you've got I think Chelsea have to. Again, nobody has a divine right. If you notice now, Lewis, there's a lot of clubs clamoring for even the Carabao Cup.
Oh yeah, we're all cup teams while City exists right now.
Exactly.
Simple as.
You ask Lawless Dan if he'll take the Carabao Cup. I'm sure you would.
Yep.
Arsenal, I'd take the Carabao Cup in a heartbeat. Definitely,
Yep.
I'll take it. To have some
Lawless to take the bloody St. Paint Johnson.
You can all thank us if we knock City out, by the way.
We knocked City out of Carabao, by the way, last season. I just put that out there.
You did.
I'd rather have the Conference League over the Carabao. I've said that all day long. As much as people disrespect the Conference League gets you Europa League. You win that, whereas Carabao gets you Conference.
Oh, you win it. If you win it.
Yeah,
if you win it, it's worth winning it. You know.
How about gets you? Oh, yeah, because 7th place. Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
So
I agree, man. Listen, silverware is silverware, and I know we've been like sort of tongue in cheek with Lawless, and he loves it really. But obviously, if you win that European Conference League, you've had a great season. Any of us win a cup, we've had a good season. That's the way it is. You win a trophy. That's what football's about. That's why I hate it when you get some of the Arsenal fans that are brushing aside the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Like, never do that, man. Like, do never ever do that, because when you win it, trust me, the feeling is unreal. And you want that feeling every season, man. As a player, a fan, manager, any football man, you want that. So,
and can I just say, because Graham Potter's just gone in at Chelsea, any cup win for him is a massive plus. Massive plus. Because being able to win with this new group of players and win a trophy, even if it was just the Carabao Cup, will propel him now that he's a winner. That's really important for Graham Potter, I believe.
100. And, Chelsea are in a bit of a strange situation for me at the moment. It's not quite working. It's going to take some time. There's been this transition word bounced around. But actually, that's what Chelsea are probably in now. New owner, new regime, new manager, some new players. It's going to take a bit of time. But Chelsea have got different pressure than some of the others because of the last 10, 15 years. They have to win or their managers are out. So where are we going to go with Toppoli? Is this going to be completely different to Roman? That's what my question mark's going to be on Chelsea. And at the moment, it looks like he's ruthless. He's gone in and got rid of Tuchel. He's gone in and thrown a load of money around. So it looks to me as if he's got ambition to win as well. So this will be an interesting season for Chelsea, in my opinion. But I want to quickly come on to Arsenal, Casey, get your thoughts on things. Feels like we ain't spoken for a while, man. I know we do on message, but ain't been on a pod for a while about it. But things are looking rosy, mate. I know it's been a bit of a struggle at times the last couple, but when we ain't playing too well and we're not losing, we can't really complain. I think that the players are looking a little jaded now. I think it's fair to say, and that does worry me in terms of a long season. But what we've seen so far, 11 games in, if I would have said to you on Ivory Squadron on one of my shows, 11 games in, 9 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, you'd have shaken my hand and say, thank you very much, Potsy. I'll take it. So what's your thoughts, man?
I would have ripped your hand off, mate. Definitely, for sure. Look, Dad, here's the funny thing. People talk about jaded. In the first half, they didn't look jaded at all, did they? The bottom line about Premiership football is when you are on top, you have to bury the other team. You have to knock them out. And if Arsenal go 2-0 up, the game is virtually over because Southampton, I couldn't see Southampton scoring more than 1 goal. So, but this has been Arsenal's Achilles heel. For most of the games this season, Dan, Arsenal have started well and haven't knocked the team out, haven't killed the opposition. And you know as well as I do, if you don't kill the opposition they'll always have their part of the game. And, Southampton, they adjusted at halftime and they came out with a little bit of help from the man in the middle, I must say, from the referee. But look, sometimes I put it on us because we should have beat them. I put it on us. Regardless of what happened with VAR, we got to knock them out. We've got to beat them 2 or 3. and then we move on. And then you wouldn't see the tiredness because we'd be able to settle down like we did at Brentford and play ball. We weren't allowed that. It was always on tenterhooks when you 1-0 up. They equalised, and we just couldn't get ourselves going. But you know what? Away from home, Lewis will tell you, going to Southampton ain't easy. Southampton beat Chelsea down there. And
thank you for the reminder, my friend. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. But Southampton are one of them teams. They can be aggressive at home, and they can go after you. If the game's tight, that's the way they like it. They like it to be a tight game. So, do you know what, Dan? I don't blame no tiredness. We need to be killers. We're not quite killers yet.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that the way Southampton played, launching it in the box, throwing it, corners, kicking us, grappling us, they knew they weren't going to come play football, because if you do that, they're going to lose. So fair play to them for trying something that was different. Ralph Hasenhüttl was under pressure. He knows he can't lose many more games. Otherwise, they're going to be dragged into a relegation battle, even if they're not there already. Some of the fans are starting to question him. But I want to finish by asking all of you this question, because for me, this is a madness now. And this comes into the West Ham Bournemouth game as well. I've seen some mad, inconsistent, unbelievably poor decision-making from officials in, according to most people, the best league in the world, which is being dragged down now because of shockingly bad officials that are not the best in the world. Now, West Ham, can smile this weekend, but the other weekend against Chelsea, that was a disgrace. That Bowen goal, there was nothing wrong with it, right? And all of a sudden, it gets ruled out. The other day, I see Souček get pulled down by a Southampton player in the box. Nothing happens. I see Jesus getting grappled, kicked, and thrown around in the box. Nothing happens at the weekend. Yes, it works for our favour sometimes, but again, it's the lack of inconsistency that I see. Then this absolute fool, Dermot Gallagher, comes on Sky Sports News, sticking up for his best buddies, right? And 3 seasons ago, he was quoted on Sky Sports News saying David Luiz had to get sent off against Wolves and get a red card and a penalty because it was a tangling of legs. Mm-hmm. Now this absolute buffoon, 3 seasons later, comes on and says it was just a tangling of legs. For me, it weren't a red card and a penalty. That's the inconsistency right there of 3 seasons worth of this fool looking at the same incident and getting it wrong. So how is he supposed to be? How are we supposed to be trusting, right, KC, these people with one of the hardest jobs in football, and this many of them getting them wrong week in, week out? I've seen so many this season, last season, and the season before, since this VAR's come in. A system which works, by the way. Yeah, the system works. It's just a replay button. Watch it again. VAR, that's working. What ain't working is these idiots watching it that are getting it all wrong. And there's so many, mate, that I see that are going against teams. And this ain't me crying because it's happening to Arsenal. This is happening to every single team in the Premier League right now. What needs to be done, Kev? This is mad.
Well, look, I think the referees have to be marked, because if the referees are marked and they keep getting the big decisions wrong, they have to go on gardening leave, Dan. They have to, because you know what? There's a lot riding on these games. I've seen so many different handball decisions, penalty decisions, etc., go for and against and all that kind of thing. But you know what? You see Dermot Gallagher comes on, like he said, one year he talks about it's a tangle of legs, it's a definite penalty when it's against Arsenal, yeah? And then when it's kind of the other way round, it's for somebody else, he says it's just a tangle of legs, it's all right. You see Keith Hackett come out and Mark Halsey come out and they said it's a definite penalty. So, do you know what, Dan? I don't know what it is. I don't know what. But one thing I do know, if those referees were judged and could be demoted and not referee the next week if they get it wrong, then you would see more consistency as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, man. Before I come to Lawless, have the last word on this. Lewis, I see Cucurella get pulled down by his hair not long ago by Romero. Nothing happens. I know you went 4-0 against West Ham, and to be fair, you've had 4s and against as well, Lewis. But this is a madness, this VAR. Like, I would rather it just be scrapped and go back now to 2 linesmen and a 4th official and a ref. Like, honestly, I would, because this is pointless, this VAR. It's just so much going wrong with it, man. What's your thoughts, bro?
See, Casey said it perfectly. The problem is they don't get punished for it. It's as simple as that. I don't think VAR is the problem. Like, when VAR wasn't here, we spent decades upon decades screaming for it because of the amount of games that we'd win or lose based off an offside that wasn't an offside or a penalty decision that got missed out of nowhere. And it works in Europe. When I see in the Champions League, there never is an issue. But when we get to the Premier League, there's always some sort of mess up every single time. And it's because they never get away with it. You are more likely to be in trouble for complaining about a poor referee's decision in a press conference than for the poor referee's decision in the first place. And that's been the case for decades. That has always been the fundamental problem. And now that's leaking into VAR. Because VAR could easily work. There's no way you can tell me that a string of officials with 6 to 7 big plasma screen TVs in front of their face can't tell a decision, with potentially the rule book right next to them as well. Like, it's very easy to sort out. The problem is you don't get punished for making mistakes and you're allowed to be lazy at your job as a result of it. There just needs to be harsher punishments. Referees are never held responsible. That's always been the problem.
Listen, I think you're talking absolute sense, man. Lawless Tobes is in the chat. The West Ham decisions, for instance, he's not happy, mate. He's not happy, you know.
Oh, yeah, he wouldn't be happy.
He's a Spurs fan who dislikes a lot of West Ham's opinions. West Ham as a club, of course, and West Ham fans' opinions. This was a joke last night, wasn't it, Lawless? You're a bit lucky with that, man.
Look, let's talk about this. Yeah, we are lucky. I mean, I don't think the decisions were as cut as dry as Tobes is making out. I watched them several times. I mean, what one? Because there was 3 instances, right? Obviously, there was our goal, which was the most contentious one, right? There was the handball shout against Ben Johnson, and there was the penalty that we received when they handballed it. Now, I think, yeah, the Kerr handball was the most contentious because he moves his arm towards the ball. Apparently, the letter of the law says because we didn't immediately score from that, that's why it's not a goal. The problem I have with this handball rule is I hate that there's one rule for attackers and one rule for defenders. To me, when I look at that Kerr one, it should be, okay, if the defender did that, is it a penalty? If it's a penalty, then the goal gets ruled out. If it's a free kick, if it happens in the middle of the park, then the goal's ruled out. We need to just a standardized one handball rule, no matter where you are in the pitch. But I think his hands are in a natural position, moves towards the ball, and it knocks up, right? So it's one of them decisions. I think we got lucky. I think we got the rubber that one, right?
Big
we
time,
got the rubber
Dan,
that one.
come on.
It's that one, right?
Apart from you that, take it, Dan, don't you? You take it because look. Yeah,
but again, it's the laws. It's not just the referees. It's the FA keep changing the rules. So we're all looking at stuff and going, "What the hell?" Like, you know, that's supposed to be a handball. Come to find out, oh, they changed the rule now that says this is a different phase of play, or if this knocks onto this player or whatever, you can't. And someone was telling me about some sort of rule, but we can't keep up with the rule changes. The rules are ridiculous. But apart from that, you know, the penalty. That's a decision that's a 50-50 decision for me. He does stop it. His arm's slightly out and he's leaning. He blocks the ball with his arm. Johnson's one. His arm is by his side. It's their 50-50 decisions. The Kerr one is the most contentious for me. And yeah, if that was ruled out, I couldn't complain, really and truly, even though his arms were by his side. But yeah, it's one of those. Like 1 week it's for you, 1 week it's against you. We just want consistency. And I think there needs to be, in my job, we have a thing called risk rating, where your work is checked, your decisions are checked, and based on what you do and the quality of your work, you're given a risk rating. The better your risk rating, the bigger your caseload is, right? The more work you're given, and the less your work is scrutinized. When you start making mistakes, you maybe get a decision wrong or something like that, your risk rating gets altered. And then things will be like, okay, you're going to have further training. You're going to have a smaller caseload, maybe. Your work's going to be checked more and scrutinized more. And you've
got to be accountable, haven't you? You've got to be accountable.
That's it. And so it's not like, okay, poor refs, it's a tough job. You get sacked. No, like this system, it's a tiered system in place that from getting the biggest jobs, to getting sacked, there's a few stages in there that can maybe give you incentive, and there's feedback to say, this is why your risk rating's down. If you work on X, Y, and Z, you can get back up. There needs to be something like that in place. So it's not just, you can keep getting these big decisions wrong, keep doing a poor job and come back next week. I always find that so ridiculous, because I feel like referees is the only job in the world where you can continuously make mistakes and do a poor job and keep just going on as if nothing's happened. And that has to change, because a lot of money at stake in this game now. And we're seeing how tight these spots are for European places, and you miss out a European place because of some bad decisions. It's big money. So yeah, something's got to be done to rectify that. It's never going to be perfect, of course not. Human interpretation and
human error.
Yeah, that's it. And I look at, like I said, some of you're going to have those 50-50 decisions. Like I said, the penalty for us, 50-50. If it went either way,
you've seen them given and you've seen them not given.
Yeah, exactly.
You get that. You can get that. You can accept that, can't you?
Yeah, you accept that. It's those glaring ones, and we've seen a lot of them. Obviously, the one on Jesus, which was similar to the one on Souček, but also we saw that this weekend, Chelsea's penalty, it was the same thing that was given. So Chelsea got a penalty for something that happened in the Arsenal game that Arsenal didn't get a penalty for in the same weekend. And that's the problem. Yeah. And then it's a glaring decision. So yeah, that's the big problem.
It is mad. It's absolutely mad. Listen, last 2 minutes, I want to do something quick. Lawless, I'm going to quote you, man, because you said, judge this Premier League after 10 games. Well, that's what we're going to do, man, because we're 11 games gone now. Forest, I believe, have played 12 games. So I want to ask people on this panel what they think is going to happen to their team. And me and Casey, obviously, in the same bracket. So I'm going to get Lewis and Lawless first. Lawless, you said West Ham are going to come sick for you. Sticking with it, bruv?
I'm sticking with it. Right? It's still too early.
You're mad.
Look, we've won mad. We've got 3 wins and 1 loss in our last 5 games. That's decent form, right? That 1 loss was Liverpool, by the way, at Anfield. That's an upturn in form. We're on the rise, slowly but surely. We're not blowing anyone away, right? We're not there going, whoa, West Ham, but going under the radar, climbing up. I'm not saying it with my full chest that we're finishing 6th, but there's not enough for me to change that yet. How many points are we off 6th? 4 points.
Not many.
No,
not many.
6 points. 6 points, right? We beat Man United. We closed the gap to 3 points. I'm just saying, it's not crazy. And I think this World Cup situation, what happens after that, it's going to be very interesting. Let's say that, and we're going to win this group, and we're going to have a couple less games in Europe to deal with. So we'll see if the teams above us have extra games. So we'll see. I'm not ruling us out yet, of course not. But yeah, we've got some. I'll see how we end this phase before the World Cup. Like I said, we've got Man United at Old Trafford, we've got Crystal Palace, and we've got Leicester. If we get 6 points out of those 3 games, it's on. It's on.
You're a betting man with Tobes. You've had a bet with Tobes about Haaland and Son, which I think you're going to win. Do you want to have a bet with me that Newcastle will finish above West Ham?
Oh, come on. Listen, we made that bet. I made that bet with Tobes early on. And I know I'm winning that £100, right? I'm winning it off Tobes.
You are.
We know that. I don't like make me bet with you, so there's a chance that I win that £100 off Tobes. I have to give it to you.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
Listen, you're going to be £100 richer, so I'll bet you £100 that Newcastle will finish above West Ham if you're willing to go down that route.
Yeah, but then they can just spend. You talk about getting Maddison and Tielemans in January.
Listen, I'm just saying
that's a rigged system.
Why is it not fair? It's still a team, still Newcastle United. Doesn't matter who they've got, mate.
I think we should wait. I think we should talk about after.
We'll talk about it after.
Because if they go out and splash on all these superstars, you know what I mean? That's just cheating. It should be null and void. I think that should be null and void then if they do that.
Jeez. Lewis, let's come to you, man. Chelsea, talk to me. Like 11 games in, where do you think you're going to be finishing?
I think it stays the same, to be honest. All I really wanted was top 4, a domestic trophy, and potentially better progression in the Champions League when Tuchel was here. And I don't think it changes. We ain't going anywhere near a title. So for anyone who thinks we could do that, yeah, good luck. But we can keep ourselves in the top 4 race. We're 100% capable of it. I do think our defense will be a lot more solid as the season grows and they get a better understanding of each other. All just depends on whether we take our chances or not. That's the only real question mark with Chelsea. But other than that, we're 100% capable of still making top 4.
I think that's fair, man. I think that's fair. I'll let KC go last because I'm interested with this Arsenal stuff. I said we sneak into the top 4 and I stand by that. The only reason I actually said that was because of Chelsea and Liverpool's fall off, because I didn't expect Chelsea and Liverpool to be struggling for a top 4 race. I thought they'd be in it. So I thought it was going to be Arsenal, United and Spurs running for that one, but it looks like it's completely changed around. So I'm going to go for Arsenal to comfortably get top 4. I don't think it will be a title race for Arsenal. I think it's too early. I think it's been fantastic. The only thing that can help that is we get to this World Cup where the fixtures have been pretty, I hate saying kind because no fixtures are easy, but we should be doing well coming onto this run to the World Cup. And then it's all we do in January. What Arsenal do in January decides what Arsenal want to do. If we want to push City further, we need a few players. So I'm going to say we'll comfortably get top 4 Champions League football. And I still think we're going to win the Europa League. And I've said that from day dot.
What position you finishing though? What position?
I'm going to go third. I'm going to go third.
And do you know what? There's going to be some heavy hit. I looked at the tables for the Champions League, by the way, and the teams that are third. There's some heavy hitters dropping down into the Europa League.
But you know what? Why are they dropping down? Because they ain't been playing well. Juventus look terrible.
Well enough for the Champions League, but Europa League level.
Yeah, but they're losing to some poor sides below us as well.
Sevilla, Juventus, Barcelona, some top teams, mate. And
mate, you wait till the Europa League people come down to the Conference League. You wait till what happens there, mate.
We slapped them last year, mate. We slapped them all last year. Don't worry about that.
Listen to this guy. Listen to this chest coming out. It's unreal, isn't it? Unreal. Come on, Kev. Talk to me, man. Wrap this show up. What do you reckon?
What I want and what's going to happen is two different things. What I want is Arsenal to show ambition in January and go out and buy 3 players. Buy that midfielder that can do everything. Buy I think we need a striker. We need an alternative striker. Said it all along. Somebody big. Somebody who, you know what? When the opposition want to try and rough us up, we could bypass a midfield and get it into him. Get crosses in. Who could get it in the net? And a wide player. Another attacking wide player, so we can rotate properly up there. I think firepower is going to be key for us, especially in the second half of the season. When we get opportunities to kill teams, we've got to kill them off. Arsenal going to finish, I said third at the start of the season, and I'm not going to change that. What I want is Arsenal to go and buy key players in January so we can have a little challenge. That's what I want. I want a little challenge for the title. Whether we win it, the team who finishes above Man City is going to win the title. I still say they're going to win it because they've got the course and distance. But a nice little challenge by Arsenal wouldn't go amiss. I think that would be good. A domestic cup, give me any one of them. I'll take it, honestly. And I want that Europa. It's going to be tough. We know that. But I think it's time. I think it's time for Arsenal to deliver. So that's what I want. And what I want is a title challenge. But you know what? I think Arsenal winning a cup, Europa League is the priority, and getting in the top 4.
Yeah, and I would have taken that, man. Europa League and top 4. I think most Gooners would have said that's a really good season. We're back in the Champions League. We've won a European trophy, and we're showing progress. And that's the main thing we want. We got to keep realistic. All I will say is I really want to see the Cronkies and Arteta and Edu go for this now and say, do you know what? We didn't expect it ourselves, but we're in a title race right now. Let's just see what we can do. The only way we're going to be able to push City is going to get those 3 players. The midfield and forwards need sorting out, Kev. You know that.
Dan,
and that's the way I want to see it.
Let me just say this, Dan. I think if Arsenal are top come the World Cup, then I don't think they have a choice. I think they've got to go for it.
I agree.
They really have to go for it.
I agree, man. 100%. Listen, guys, this has been a wicked show. As always, love this show on this channel. And it's always good fun and good banter. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for being with us. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, get yourself over to these guys and do exactly the same thing. Go follow Kevin Campbell, go follow Highbury Squad, go follow West Ham TV and At The Lawless. Go follow Carefree Lewis and Chelsea Fan TV and all the stuff that he does over at Chelsea Content. And obviously, Dan United at Football One, and tap in Tobes, who can't be with us tonight, but will be next week. Isn't it a shame that Toby weren't about? We had to miss talking about how rubbish Tottenham are for a week. Oh, I've missed it, but we'll look forward to next week. Hopefully, it will continue. Listen, guys, big up yourselves. Smash a like on the way out, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.